Hey, it's Thursday. I hope your calculations have been going well, and I hope that they're getting a little easier every day. Let me know if you need more help. Okay, so my first one I'm looking at, I don't know what this number is, but I'm taking 56, I'm dividing it into 8 groups, and I want to know how much is in each group. I rewrote my problem, right? Because remember, whenever we're using division, that's first in our multiplication problem. This is going to be after our equal sign, right? Because that's going to be the largest value in that number in the fact family. Okay. So on this one, I'm going to do 88 times what number equals 56. Okay. So I already know this one, if I don't know my facts, is going to be smaller. What I can do is use what I know. Most of us understand clocks, and 8 times 5 is going to give me 40. So then I could kind of keep adding on. So I'm starting with my 40, and then I'm going to need 2 more groups, because if I did one more group, that'd be 48. Let me write this. Okay, so what I was saying is, because we can always use a multiplication chart to help, and that will help, because I would just be looking, if I was doing it this way, I'd just look in 8's column, and I'd look down until I found 56, and I'd move over, and I'd find that I have 7 groups. But if I wasn't sure, I didn't have a multiplication chart, and I'll put that in there so you know that it's 7. Sorry, I can't really see my paper when I'm doing this. I do know my 5s, and I know that because of a clock. Okay, so if I look and I have 40 minutes, if I add 8 more, I get 48. And that's going to be the same as 6 groups. Then I would have to add 8 more, and I'd end up with 56. And notice I was kind of putting there, right? Because this is 5 groups, and then I had 2 more groups of 8. So I have 7 groups. Okay, on this one, I have some number divided by 4 gives me 3. So this number, when I split it up into groups of 4, gives me 3 groups. Or I can do it the other way and say this number, when I split it up into 4 groups, I have 3 in each group. So I'm just going to rewrite this as the multiplication. That's my inverse, right? And I'm going to start behind, and I'm going 3 times 4 equals 12. Well, again, this should be a basic fact, but oops, sorry. But if you don't know that, the number sentence, we can use either of these. This is my 3 groups of 4, or this one would be 4 groups of 3. And either way, we're going to end up with 12. 12 is my final answer. Okay, so improper fractions. Remember, denominator times the whole plus my numerator, which I wrote over here. All of that over my denominator. Okay, then I'm going to use my order of operations, and I'm going to do what's in the parentheses first. When I do my order of operations, I have what's in the parentheses first plus my numerator. So 70 plus 8, and I put all that over 10. And then I just add these together, and I get 78 over 10. Okay. How you doing? I hope that's getting easier. Let's take a look at number 4. So we have our decimals that we're going to be subtracting. So let's first just make an estimate. I'm just going to use this, even though I'd round it up to 91, I'm still just going to use my idea where it's like to make it easier. I'm going to use it with my tens. So I'm just going to go 90 minus 60. And I'm just looking then at my tens, and 9 minus 6 gives me 3. So my estimate's going to be around 30. Now, I also know that my estimate, I rounded down. So this will be a little bit off, but it'll be very close to 30. Okay, so when we do my decimals, I'm going to rewrite my problem. And when I write my problem, I'm going from left to right, same as when we're reading. So this goes on top, this number goes on the bottom. I line up my decimals each time, and I bring it down. Okay, so we're going to have it this way. I'm also going to go start on the right, and remember, I'm subtracting. So I have 7, and I'm going to take 3 away. I end up with 4. And if I have 0 and I take 0 away, I still have 0. Get 0. When I have 9 minus 6, and in this case it's in the 10s, so 90 minus 60, right, is going to give me a 3. So my final answer is 30 and 4/10. Okay, I'm going to circle it so we remember. Now, look, that is really close. And we knew that that was going to be the case because I had rounded down for my estimate. All right, when I'm doing my division. Okay, so I want to show you what I was doing. Now, this is for an estimate, but it's actually another way to just figure out our actual answer, because the same thing, right, when I'm looking here, this is a pretty easy number to work with. So I'm just splitting that up into my tens and ones. This is the same as 80 divided by 2, that's my tens, and 4 divided by 2. Again, in case you're freaked out by division, we rewrote it. 2 times some number equals 80, and 2 times some number equals 4. Well, this one should be pretty easy. So there's my 2. Okay, so there's a 2 in the ones place. And now on this one, guys, it's really easy because watch. I said that when I look at this number, this 0 here tells me that I have a 0, right? That's going to be a 0 in the ones. Or it's the same as I'm going to look at this number. 2 times what number gives me 8? And then I'm just going to take whatever this is, whatever goes on this line, and do it times 10. Well, I hope that one's pretty easy for you. And I hope that you know 2 times 4 gives me 10. Or sorry, 2 times 4 gives me 8. And then times 10 is going to give me 40. So here it should be 40. And so when I do that, my answer here is going to be 42. But let's do the actual problem. So I'm going to have 84. This number here goes under the bar. And I put my 2 outside. I take my 8 and I'm splitting it into groups of 2, or I can say I'm splitting into 2 groups. Each group has 4 in there. 2 times 4 gives me 8. I'm going to subtract. This is 0. I'm going to bring down my 4. If I have 4 and I'm splitting into groups of 2, I'm going to have 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4. Sorry, my pen's bad. And there's my 0. There's my final answer. Okay, let me know if you have questions.